And now, GroupCollect presents GroupCollect The Podcast. Welcome everyone to GroupCollect The Podcast. It's the only show on the internet that brings you insights from the world of group travel technology, as well as news about your favorite group travel tech company, which is, of course, GroupCollect. I am your host, Eric Young, and today I am joined by our account manager, Kathleen Lyles from St. Augustine, Florida, and from New York City, it's our Director of Product Management, Ryan Kramer. What's up with the New York City locale, my friend?
Was not where I was supposed to be today. So by the time this releases, the storm will have passed, but there was a historic snowfall in New York over the past 24 hours. That's just starting to wrap up now. When I departed to go have a lovely weekend in New York on Friday, seeing some family and friends and seeing some of my beloved Broadway shows, it was meant to be a dusting. And throughout the days that I was here, that quickly evolved into a historic snowfall. So I was meant to be back in my beloved Boston today, but here I am in New York City and got to see four incredible shows and am just very grateful to have a place to be warm and talk to two of my favorite coworkers.
It's all really working out for you then, isn't it? Your internet signal is strong. Here you are with the GroupCollect The Podcast team, and away we go with this episode here. In February, the month of love. Now, of course, this is a group travel industry podcast, so I am going to spring this question on each of you, starting with you, Kathleen. What is something about group travel that you love?
Getting to experience new things with your friends, I think, or if it's a family trip. But to me, when I think group travel, it means it's, a group of your friends. So yes, it may have been somewhere you visited a lot with your family or, your summer spot or whatever, but experiencing that with your friends on a different level, doing different things, to me is just magical. There's just something about, doing things with not your family, right? You're forced to do things
not
with your
family. Right.
So
Your
I love my
family,
but you make different memories.
All due respect to your family. It's true. It is a very unique dynamic of people, and then throwing in the element of adventure and novelty of travel in with that. It's a recipe that is very unique to group travel, typically with friends and not family. Same question over to you, Ryan.
I adore the logistics of group travel. As someone who spent a long time working for a tour operator, and before that, got to work with a tour operator on the client side planning trips, and having traveled on many group tours. To me, it's just much like in New York City here, it's a small miracle that there's this subway system that just constantly runs underneath the ground. To me, it is equally miraculous that there is this whole industry that keeps against all odds reservations, bookings, activities, things that against all odds should be hard to piece together even for a singular person or for an FIT group, making that happen for a busload, two busloads, three busloads, hell, four busloads of people.
At scale, exactly.
At scale. It's was one of the greatest joys of my life. Getting to participate in it, getting to help facilitate it was one of the greatest joys in my life, and now it's my great joy to help, in some small way, build tools to make that happen.
At an even greater scale. Excellent. I really appreciate you both going along with that. My favorite thing about group travel is getting to spring group travel questions on the two of you. So.
No, Eric, Eric, you are. I'm going to spring it on you. I'm going to spring it because you have so much industry experience, both in your seat right now, but also you are a prolific tour director. I don't know if people know this. What sincerely, what is your favorite part about the group travel industry?
So I'm going to give the most basic answer possible, but it is so sincere. It's the people that work in the industry. That's the reason why I'm here, is because I was friends with somebody that owned a a student group travel company, and it was almost like he was my Obi-Wan. He was like, no, you belong with this tribe of people over here. And so at that point in my life, I was just, taken by the hand over into this group of people. And almost everyone that I have met from one sector of the industry to the other has just been the coolest people. They have chosen to dedicate the work that they do in life to making these magical travel experiences for people. And they're like, of all the other things that we can do with our time on Earth, why not this? Because it objectively rocks and it makes a difference. And it doesn't make a difference in the way that some other occupations do. It's kind of in this intangible, ambiguous character building sort of way, but like, why not? Because that stuff's important too. And you know what? It turns out that there is this legitimacy to it because you can tell in the size of the industry, and you can tell in the way that that group travel has bounced back in the wake of catastrophe and things of that nature, that there's something that is more than just like a want or a desire in group travel. It's like there's a compulsion in humanity to do this, and therefore there needs to be the people that plan it. And here we are, podcasting about it.
Yes, well, we've talked about this before too, where it's also like sort of like a little secret society. Like you say, like
Totally.
there's a bunch of people involved. Nobody really, you don't really know exist. Like we're
Yeah.
here just like making the world work, and
Yeah. It's
kids
the
just get to have fun because of it.
Yeah, it's like a little speakeasy sort of society. It's
Hmm.
it's a low key thing, but man, am I glad I found it, and I'm happy to be chit chatting about it today. So here on Group Collect the podcast, we've got a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. Ryan, you are in the midst of hiring a product designer. First of all, talk to us. What is a product designer? Why is Group Collect looking for one? And tell us how it's been going so far.
So, what is a product designer? A product designer, if they do their job well, you should not notice their work very
Ooh,
much. A product designer, in the way that we use them, is that person where when you just seamlessly navigate to a website and you find what you're looking for, you find how to do it, and it happens almost, it's almost like when you look at it, something washed over you and suddenly you knew. These are masters. It's an incredibly the skill set that you need to have to be a product designer. You need to be, you hear designer and you think creative, artistic, like, yes, there's absolutely that component to it. But specifically, these user experience and user interface designers, these product designers, they have to be so tapped in to the human brain. They have to be so tapped into the world around us that, like I said, you don't feel we talk about the word friction a lot in the field of product management. Their job is to eliminate friction and a controversial world in the product designer world, but make it feel delightful. And I'll give you this example, Eric. How many of us are iPhone users absolutely love that when you get texted 5-digit code now, it gets put in there automatically
sure.
without having to navigate out? One of the coolest things that's ever happened, right? That was the work of a product designer there. You look for things that are kind of that sleek, that under the radar, but it's like, ooh, that is so good, being able to do that there.
So the product designer hiring process here with Group Collect, I guess I threw a three-part question at you. So part two was, why are we looking to hire one?
Well, we already have one incredible product designer on our team. She's very shy and doesn't like to give herself a lot of credit, so I'll put her on blast right now.
Let's
Our friend
go.
Delia. Yeah, our friend Delia, who lives in Romania, and just has done an incredible job. Delia has been very busy, as you can imagine, over the past 18 months building out Group Collect Ops. And something that I keep on hearing. I heard it from our internal team. I've heard it for our users. I've had the pleasure of going out into the field and doing some research on this. Is wow, this is easy to use. Group Collect Ops. This is very intuitive. would not be the case if we did not have Delia right there, devoted more hours than I care to think about to the layouts and the functionality and the appearance of that platform. So, as you can imagine, her hands are quite full right now as we bring that product to fruition, and as we are going to start to expand functionality there. So that gives us the need to have somebody who is focused on the flagship product, GroupCollect Register.
Right.
And as we grow, I see this as being just so exciting, us being at this, crazy pivot point here where, we are offering so much more. Naturally, we need more butts and seats to be able to make that happen. And we're at the
Yep.
point where we are ready to bring another genius mind along to complement Delia's.
Right. So it
Mhm.
got to a point where Delia needed to be in two places at once, and lo and
Yes.
behold, there is but one Delia. And
Yes,
so we went
unfortunately. The
out
world would be a better place if we had like oodles of Delias, but
the the Delia multiverse, right?
Yeah.
But we have journeyed out into the great beyond to go search for a counterpart. So that is exciting, and so that brings us into the world of GroupCollect Register development. But before we get into all that, I understand that hiring a product designer in 2026 has been quite a journey for you. So talk to
Yes.
us about how this has been. What have the experiences been? What have you learned in this process that you think might be helpful to somebody else that's in your position looking for a product designer?
Absolutely. And I'll be cautious with what I say because, as they say in the law enforcement biz, this is an ongoing investigation. We are still actively in the process of finding who this fantastic individual is going to be. But I'm happy to share a few observations. And one is that our friend Brian Jewell, who you're going to hear his dulcet tones in a second right here, great guy. Make sure that you're following and subscribe to his podcast if you're not already. I had the honor of being a guest one month when he had no one better make an offer. And I was talking about how one of the greatest things about remote work, because my interview was about our remote work culture here at Group Collect, is you are not looking for the greatest talent in the Orlando area or in the St. Augustine area or in the Boston area. You have the whole world of talent available to you. Anyone who's willing to be a part of the project, anyone who believes in what we're doing, regardless of where they are, is
Hmm.
able to join us. So I think that adds a level of just incredible advantage to us. It also adds an incredible amount of volume of people who
True.
are able to submit applications.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this much. It's I and the folks who are supporting me in this endeavor are putting a lot of care to individually review every application.
Yeah.
We are individually reaching out to every single person who applies
Hmm.
to let them know we've received their application and to let them know that the status of their application, whether they move forwards or backwards. And I guess my advice, what I'm learning is just how valuable in a world where so many jobs you go on LinkedIn Easy Apply or Indeed Easy Apply or whatever
Hmm.
platforms you have there, and you just kind of spray and pray, as they say. You taking the time to make this a very human process is so appreciated by people. And it makes the process better for me as a hiring manager as well. And I would say to people in my position, if I am able to individually outreach every candidate who applies for this, when I have people coming in from all over the world, you can and you should take the time as well to consider doing so, because I think it pays off and it plays in with our core values too. Like with this launch, I'll talk about ops again. With our launch of ops, we keep talking about how one of our key objectives is to make the process of booking an RFPs more human, not less
Yeah.
human with technology,
Yeah.
but to make it more human. I think that part of the reason why I wanted to join this company back a year and a half ago was, we live by our principles here, and making things more human is one of our principles. So why should that not extend to our hiring process?
Absolutely.
So so keep it manual and be a human to every applicant. Uh,
Absolutely.
I salute you. Especially when, the searching process has been at the global scale. That is it's quite a task. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think at one point, Kathleen and I had mentioned we probably should have filmed all of these segments and turned it into some kind of Group Collect reality TV show, the making of the dev team or something. But I guess that ship has sailed. So,
Or just the
uh,
making of our team in general too. We're all fun characters, let's just say.
I mean,
You
yeah,
need to be a little nuts to succeed in this environment. I think we would all agree.
To
right.
enjoy working from home, yes, there's got to be a part of you that is not sane.
Re- So just the right amount of psychotic is necessary, the functional amount of psychotic.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Um,
Hmm.
Interesting. Well, as you said, the process is ongoing, but admirable the way that you've gone about it so far. And again, we're extremely grateful that you've taken time from that process today to talk to us about it.
My pleasure. And tune in not too many months' time to hear being interviewed who this incredible person is,
I
who
hope
we
that you
can't wait
include
to.
that
Yeah.
in the contract that you offer, that there will be an
Yes.
interview on Group Collect the Podcast within the first 2 weeks of their
Yeah.
employment, or
Hmm.
like hit the
Company
road.
initiation, yeah,
Yeah,
mandatory company
it's an
Yeah.
initiation.
Absolutely.
So, Kathleen, over on your side of things, earlier this month we had ourselves a live Zoom event, a lot to love. We talked about our new partnership with Lato and how that can help the users of Group Collect Register with their registration pages. We have a link if you are interested in experiencing a demonstration of Lato in the show notes. But also, we talked about the kickoff of the 2026 rewards program. So let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, tell me what went into the decision. We started the rewards program for Group Collect Register users back in 2025, a year ago. And what went into the decision to bring it back here for 2026, you think?
It was received very well. It was fun. People enjoyed it. In our industry, we have the stressful, chaotic moments, as we all have talked about or alluded to, throughout the year we've been doing the podcast. And it's just something fun. It just makes you want to use it even more. And a big thing with the rewards is that I just like to make sure that people are using the system to its fullest capabilities. You've got all your features on. You're doing all of the things that we can allow you to do to help you, and to set you up and to help you grow your business. It's mainly just a kind of a reason to talk to me to help you like see where your progress has been from the previous year and to, okay, what can we do to try to grow and expand and make things better for our passengers for next year? And that has been honestly my favorite part is seeing the year over year growth so far just from last year to this year with our companies. It's been a really fun conversation.
I will say that is definitely one of my favorite aspects of the rewards program is that there is this element of not just how much business you put in or process through Group Collect Register, but to your point of are you using it for all of the things that it does? And in a lot of cases, some users might not be aware of all the things that it can do. So it's just going to spark that conversation of like, oh, when people book their account review with you, uh, have you been using the donations feature? Geez, I mean, I know that there is a thing, but what do you do with it? And next thing you know, you're showing somebody, the X's and O's on how to incorporate that into their workflow, and everyone is benefiting from that. So I really do like how it's a point system, and not all of the points are based on how much business you process through the system. It is more of a holistic reward system. We want you to be a healthy, well-rounded user of GroupCollect Register, no matter the size of your operation, right?
Yes, absolutely. And just circling back on the donations, I know we kind of talked about it in December, but in total, the donation feature, if anyone is not using it, you should be. We had $4,200,122 in donations for the year of 2025. So that is just huge. And think of all of the people that have helped travel. That just makes me so happy. I've been bragging about this feature forever, so to see numbers like that, it's so impactful.
What do you think this year, over 5 million?
Let's go.
Let's
Let's
go.
do it. I hope
Let's
so. I
just
sure hope
manifest that
so.
reality. We're going to put it out there in the universe. But, it starts with things like this, right? So the rewards program, we kicked it off for 2026. So basically, for users that have been using GroupCollect Register for a full calendar year, we're going to look back at the data from the last year. And then that is what's going to be used to determine what tier they are in for this year. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep, there are four tiers. So, since using it for a full year puts you in a tier, and then we just go from there. So, following people who've used us for a couple of years now, watching them go up, there were quite a bump in people going up this year too, which was exciting too. And it's just again a topic of conversation to open the doors and just make sure that, you guys are happy too. Also, with this new designer coming on, maybe there are some things that we can kind of suggest to make things easier too. So it's just, your love letters and your not so lovely letters. It's just a time to communicate because we have the team to make it better. And we've always done that. We've always listened to what you think can make things better. And that's all we want to do. We want to make it the best for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. So the account review sessions basically are that's the way that you're going to activate your rewards program status, right? Because whatever tier you're in will determine exactly what awards or rewards you are eligible for this year, right?
Okay.
But then, secondarily, but just as importantly, I would say that the account review sessions are also for feedback, right? Like we want to hear what users are saying. We want to run that up the flagpole when we've got the new designer in place. We want to continue to improve GroupCollect Register because it is a constantly evolving product. And so all of that kind of feeds into itself, right? So with all that said, when people want to take that step and book the account review, they can do so. Well, if you're listening to this episode, then what you want to do is go to the show notes of wherever you are listening to this, and there will be a link there where you can access the account review page, and then you'll be able to select the day and time that works for you. About how long are people booking for the account reviews, Kathleen?
So it's open for all year. I am here for approximately about the next 3 weeks. So if you book an appointment within the month of March, yours truly will be joining. We have some exciting news. I will be stepping away just to bring another human being into the world here briefly. So just thank
Congratulations.
you. A little quick maternity leave. So if you are, we will still do an account review for you. You are more than welcome to book the months of April, May, and June. It would be with Elise or Sharon or both of them. And both of them are just as well equipped to go over, your numbers, your standings. Most of you know either, if not both of them already. Elise runs the help desk as well. These last 2 years, she's been in there as well too. So you might have already known who that is. And Sharon, we all love Sharon so much. She's our VP of sales there too. So not an unfamiliar face, I will say. And then come July, we'll be back in the swing of things, and you can jump back in with me.
So definitely continue to use that link, continue to book the account reviews. And Kathleen will be taking care of those up until you welcome the newest member of your family. But that's awesome news, Kathleen. We're also so happy for you. And that does also mean that your seat will be temporarily empty here at GroupCollect the Podcast for the next couple of months. So we are going to have there is absolutely no replacing Kathleen Lyles. All right. So what we will do is while in your absence, we will have a rotating member from the team come in and guest co-host for those 3 months that you're gone. Maybe we'll even keep something like that going when you come back, because it's going to be interesting to hear from various voices from the team. But so that's what you can expect for those couple of months while Catherine is out welcoming the newest member of her family into the world. But I'll tell you, we're going to be welcoming another voice onto this podcast right here, because we would like to transition over to our interview with someone who is no stranger of GroupCollect the Podcast and just podcasts of the group travel industry in general. And that is, of course, Mr. Brian Jewell of the Group Travel Leader. We have an excellent conversation with him where he's talking about some of the upcoming FAM tours that the Group Travel Leader is offering this year, as well as his insights on group travel planning technology, which is my favorite topic to ask him about. And so he was kind enough to share his thoughts and insights on that. And so without further ado, this is our interview with Mr. Brian Jewell. All right, everybody, we have our very special guest here, Mr. Brian Jewell on GroupCollect the Podcast. How you doing today, Brian?
Hey, I am good. I'm so glad to be back with you all. You're some of my favorite people in travel to hang out with.
Dude, back at you. We got Mr. Ryan Kramer here as well, so we're just going to be chatting a little bit about what's going on with the FAM tours that you have all set up for this spring. So let's jump right into it. I wanted to ask you, with these FAM tours, we have Myrtle Beach, Kentucky, and Savannah. We'll go one by one, but what do you think that tour operators are going to be surprised about with these destinations? Let's start with Myrtle Beach, going April 21st through the 24th.
Yeah, absolutely. This one is really targeted towards student tour operators, and I know that's a huge part of your community there at GroupCollect. I think a lot of people in that market know Myrtle Beach as a fun destination. I think they're going to be blown away by how many real learning opportunities there are there. One of my very favorite places in Myrtle Beach is called Brook Green Gardens. It's like hundreds of acres of sculpture garden, and there's opportunities for students to learn about horticulture, to learn about art, to learn about sculpture, to have some hands-on activities. So you can do STEM stuff there, you can do art stuff there, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Another great opportunity is getting out on the water. There are eco tours that I believe are going to be part of this itinerary. I've done this tour a couple times before. You go out with a naturalist who is pulling stuff up out of the seawater, bringing it on the boat, and you get to see a live soft shell crab or little shrimp or fish or other sea life, and they really talk to you about why this is an important part of the ecosystem. It is super educational, also fun, also beautiful. So people who have maybe not considered Myrtle Beach because they think of it as just a playground will be really, really surprised how many fantastic education opportunities there are, in addition to performance opportunities, which also abound in Myrtle Beach.
Okay, cool. So once again, this FAM tour that the Group Travel Leader specifically is putting on from April 21st through the 24th is for student tour operators exclusively, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Myrtle Beach is really trying to get themselves out there as a student destination to consider. So we're looking for, a dozen or so student companies that either are considering doing business in Myrtle Beach or are at least open to the idea.
All right. And now sticking with the student tour operator market here, you guys are also launching a FAM tour to Kentucky, May 25th through the 29th.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what is the upside to student groups visiting Kentucky and whereabouts in Kentucky?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited about this one because it's home turf for me. I've lived
Indeed.
my whole life in Lexington. It's a wonderful place to live and a wonderful place to visit. This tour is sort of a swing through the state. So it's going to be Louisville, Lexington, and Bowling Green. A lot of people may not be as familiar with Bowling Green, but you have definitely heard of the Corvette, which is manufactured in Bowling Green. And that city is also the home to the National Corvette Museum, one of the coolest auto museums I've ever been to. So that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people, when they talk about Kentucky tourism, are talking about things that we would qualify as adult activities. And I don't mean that in any kind of shady or illicit way, but bourbon is obviously big here. Horse racing is obviously big here. Now, anybody can go to the races, but you have to be over 18, of course, to bet on the races.
Exactly.
So I'm really excited for student operators to see all of the student-friendly things Kentucky has to offer. Great example of that, in addition to that auto museum, would be like going to the Louisville Slugger Factory and Museum, because any young kid that played baseball or softball is going to walk in and just be in heaven. You can hold bats in your hands. Like I literally held a bat that belonged to Babe Ruth. They've got a wall.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. They've got a wall of bats from something like 30 or 40 or more absolute legends of the game, and you can, yeah, I mean they're used and they're worn, and you can see where they've written their name on them and hold them in your hands. That's just one of the many kind of experiences. So super exciting. If kids are into horses or maybe interested in horses, the Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington is just a wealth of experience to get very close up with horses that have, I don't know, won the Kentucky Derby or
Nice.
races like that. So it's really stuff here that genuinely you cannot do anywhere else.
I imagine that for Myrtle Beach and Kentucky, with these being springtime fam tours too, they're kind of just trying to show off this region of the country that time of year too. Probably a beautiful time to be in Kentucky, no?
Absolutely. May is just gorgeous here. Late May, you might get temperatures in the low 80s. You might get temperatures in the upper 60s to 70s. But either way, it's going to be beautiful. And this is also really when student groups are traditionally traveling. We see so many schools sort of pack that very back end of their calendar with lots of trips. And so that's definitely the goal, is to let travel planners and tour operators see these great destinations during the times when they would actually be bringing students. So we're not asking you to, okay, squint a little bit and imagine what this would be like in a different
Right.
season. It's like, come have the whole experience.
Yeah, you want to get the real deal.
Yeah.
And then rounding out this list here, I think a list that, or excuse me, a city that is near and dear to all of us here, Savannah, August 2nd through the 5th. I say that because CIDA was held there not too long ago, around that time of year, and I think everyone had a grand old time. So talk to us about this opportunity. Now, this is for all tour operators, adults and students, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's open to anybody who runs a tour company, no matter who they serve. Savannah, we've been doing this fam with them once a year for, 3 or 4 years now. It's always one of the most popular events we do, and for good reason. It's one of the most beloved and charming cities in the South. We always, of course, highlight the city with a tour. Very often it's a trolley tour or some kind of like hop on, hop off vehicle. You get to see all the beautiful garden squares. You get to see the Forrest Gump bench, many
Personal
things like
fave.
that. Yeah, absolutely. Tybee Island, we're going to go out to Tybee Island and introduce people to the beach destination there, and do a great tour that highlights, not only the history, but the flora and fauna and the ecosystem. There's some great stuff there. Very popular activity, Gospel Dinner Cruise. There is a great cruise company that does cruises on the Savannah River. They have a couple different river boats. And once a week, I forget what night of the week it is, but it's a dinner cruise. And instead of having, a typical DJ or band playing pop hits, they bring in a gospel group. And when I say a group, I mean a group. So there, are 3 or 4 musicians, and then it's like a choir that comes on board with them, and a very charismatic choir director. And man, they have church up in that cruise boat, and the music is amazing. I mean, even if that's not, your musical background or your faith background, you're just going to be blown away by the music and, the emotion they engender. And then you can just always walk out, go on the top deck, and watch a beautiful sunset over the Savannah River and the waterfront. So I've done that a number of times. I'm always excited to get to do it again. So this is going to be a real favorite for people who come.
I was going to say, there is no way that you're not enjoying the gospel dinner cruise
Yes.
because everyone likes at least one of those three things, right?
Yeah, the food is great, the music's great, the scenery is great. So if you don't have a good time, that's on you.
Right, right. Um, Excellent, excellent. And so, yeah, I noticed that actually, you brought that up in Savannah and Myrtle Beach. There might be a touch of that in Kentucky as well, but just the eco-awareness nature of these tours. So it's like that's a whole other like aspect of travel, I think. Would you say that that's an emergent type of group where people are looking to go to these destinations so that they can kind of immerse themselves in whatever the eco offerings are of that destination?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing more of that in the market. Of course, tours in general tend to be diverse activities. And so you don't see a whole lot of tour operators say we're going to spend 5 days in Savannah only doing nature stuff. Because you're going to have people who are disappointed that they didn't get to do the Air Force Museum or things like that. But it's definitely growing, and honestly, I find it's one of the best ways to send sustainability messages that break through and kind of touch people's hearts. You know what I mean? People can get on a podcast or a platform and talk about how important sustainability is, and it's an intellectual exercise. But when you get people, and especially young people, out to see like some of these fragile environments, the marshlands around Myrtle Beach, or the riverfront and the barrier islands in Savannah, they connect with it in a real way. And sustainability becomes real to them, and conservation becomes real to them. And for my money, you're going to make much more progress towards getting somebody on board when you do that, rather than lecturing or trying to make a thesis argument.
Agreed. So more of an element that seems to be emerging in travel in general, group travel specifically, not necessarily these destinations, but it seems like almost every destination is gonna when you're there touring around and having a good time, they're also going to talk to you about what the ecological situation is in their town, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, as usual, the simple housekeeping is we'll put all of the details of these excellent fam tour opportunities in the show notes. Brian, where can people go? You normally have a very tidy way for people to visit your website and sign up when they're interested for one of these. What should they do?
Yeah, absolutely. The site is grouptravelleader.com. And yes, that's two L's in a row, travel leader, grouptravelleader.com. There's the homepage. You can add to that /FAMs if you want, grouptravelleader.com/FAMs. That will take you directly to our FAM landing page. And it is always up to date with all the FAM offerings we have. So anytime we have a new one come on, you can find it there, even sometimes before you hear me talk about it on a podcast or come on your show to talk about it or put it in the magazine. So there's also an opportunity for people to subscribe to the update list there. So if they want to hear about a new opportunity as soon as we're ready to announce it, enter their emails there, and then they'll get them automatically and don't have to, remember to keep coming back to that page every few months.
You don't have to be mining through this podcast episode in order to get the detail or the notes for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So, Brian, as you know, we're big fans of your podcast, Gather and Go.
Thank you.
Not listening yet, make sure to give it a listen wherever you get your podcasts. I've had the honor of being a guest on there and am a frequent listener. It's good stuff, but I digress. So Erik and I noticed some new formatting in the Gather and Go podcast recently, and I'm talking about your episode about the civil rights era in Mississippi and use of some sourced audio. Can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, the decision to include that in the episode, and just generally, how the show is evolving, and, if you plan to continue such creative feats along with it?
For sure. Well, I'm going to be 100% honest with you and the audience because we're all adults. That was a sponsored episode. And so it was a paid partnership with Mississippi Travel. The context there is that we've had a long running partnership with the United States Civil Rights Trail Marketing Alliance, which is a group of mostly state tourism organizations. There are also some cities that have come together and said, hey, we can cooperatively market the attractions and historic sites we have along the Civil Rights Trail and do it much better together than we could separately. So we publish a custom magazine for them every year. It shows up in the March issue of the Group Travel Leader. We do a custom email series. And then one of the things we offer is the opportunity for some of these states to take audio they've already created and share it with our audience through, in the industry, it's called a feed drop, basically. But so that was a paid promotion. But I'll tell you what, my favorite kind of paid promotion to participate in is something that is just so stinking motivational as that was. Every time I get to hear one of those stories, it really affects me deeply, and it just makes me really proud that we are able to participate in that way, tell those stories, and the fact that it benefits us in a business way is honestly just icing on the cake.
I, just as like a podcast guy myself, like, man, I really appreciate that finally produced like storytelling, immersive kind of audio experience. So, I mean, the fact, like you said, that was a cross promotional sort of situation between you and the Civil Rights Trail. Keep it coming. It was great to be exposed to that. The story and the content itself was fantastic. In general, with the Gather and Go podcast, I know that it's an ever evolving work in of itself. What sort of plans do you have for the show for this coming year?
Well, we've been really fortunate. We started almost 3 years ago. This, I guess, April or May will be our 3-year anniversary, and to date, we've done almost 90 episodes. And I've just been blown away. Thank you. I've been blown away by the kinds of people that say yes to this. I mean, Ryan Kramer, that's a big get.
Like how? We still don't know.
But no, I mean, we've had the chance to interview some real luminaries, ranging from like Bruce Poon-Tip, who founded G Adventures and is an absolute legend in the adventure tour space. Andrew Zimmer, the food and travel personality from TV, has been on, a couple other folks like that. So I love going to tourism events and just seeing who I meet. You mentioned the CIDA convention in Savannah last year. I met at least 3 or 4 people there who ended up being guests. Ryan probably among them, but Greg Bottenhorn from Jazzby, he and I were literally just sitting at a table in one of the little lounge areas, chit-chatting, and he started telling me about his fintech solution for student tour groups. And I said, hold on, wait a minute. This is a podcast episode. So,
It's a show. He actually was also one of our common guests. So he was on GroupCollect the podcast, and for good reason, because I guess in his previous life, he was in broadcast media in New England, and you can tell because he is a good hang on the show.
He's a very good hang. Yeah. So honestly, the strategy is I go as many places as I can, meet as many really interesting people as I can meet, and then figure out how to get them on the show. So, I'm working leads from the American Bus Association conference last month. I've been in, where have I been? I've been a lot of places recently. I was in Louisiana a month ago.
Some might say too many.
Yeah. My wife might say too many. I was just at the Select Traveler Conference
Nice.
down in Williamsburg, Virginia. And so that's the plan. So I'll put this out there. If you are ever at an event where you see me or the group travel leader and you've got an idea for something you think we ought to talk about on the podcast, I am all ears. So I don't go into the year with a master plan of topics I want to talk about. It's really, I go to events and look for smart, engaging, creative people who have stories to tell, or, a new angle on group travel that I haven't thought about. I have conversations with them there, and then we do it again and we record it.
It's fantastic. If I'm understanding, that's what the real angle is for Gather and Go this year, is just get the most interesting guests that you possibly can, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
All right, more housekeeping. How do people follow the show? Where should they go?
Yeah, it's really simple. You can go to our website, grouptravelleader.com/podcast. That's where you can find a library of all of the nearly 90 episodes we've done. You can subscribe by email to get an email whenever a new episode comes out. It tends to be about twice a month on Wednesdays. Or go to your favorite podcast playing app. There's a bunch of them. We're on all of them. So just search for Gather and Go there, and subscribe. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, if you like a podcast, subscribe to it, because if you're trying to remember to catch the new episode every week or every month, like, you're going to forget because your life is busy. But if you hit that follow or plus or subscribe button or whatever, it's magic. The new episode shows up overnight in your sleep and is added to your queue. So it's good for you. It's good for us. That's how I love for people to consume our content. We're also on YouTube. We got a YouTube channel. You can go, youtube.com, search for Gather and Go, and you can see video of tons and tons of our interviews. And sometimes there's bonus content in the video that I had to cut out of the audio for time. So you get the real uncut thing. Every now and then you see me make a mistake on video and I don't cut it out the way I do out of the audio.
I can totally relate to that. I've been there in the editing room, and with video you get to see it all.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, so a rare blunder, just lets everyone know that it's like this is an AI, man. I mean, like, we're out here doing it for real.
We are flesh and blood.
Yeah. All right, awesome. And yeah, there is, I mean, maybe that's just why the medium of podcasting is blowing up in general, has blown up, because I've yet to have anyone say no to an invitation to be on the show, which is like, I mean, because who doesn't want to just like, have a forthright conversation about like what's going on in their life with somebody for an hour, right?
It's crazy, man. I'll be honest with you. I've had a handful of no's, and they don't come from people who are too big for their britches. They come from people who are just too stressed to get it together. Like, life is too busy. So it's not big shots telling me no. It's folks that I think are really fascinating, but they just have too much on their plate. And they're like, I can't carve out the time to do it.
It's not that they don't want to. They want to, right? And they're just like, I physically cannot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. Congratulations. You guys are fast approaching 100 shows, and for good reason. It's an awesome listen. And so, we have been promoting it on GroupCollect the podcast, and there's really only so many shows, if you're a fan of podcasts that are, talking about the group travel industry in this way, and you guys are one of the best. So strongly advocate for following Gather and Go. Now, we are podcasters talking about podcasting right now, so we're going to continue on with that theme, because a year ago, you were actually one of our first, you were the first guest on GroupCollect the podcast that was external, not somebody from within the GroupCollect organization. So this is really like, a coming of age moment for us as a show. But also, we wanted to ask you, because you have so many interesting conversations with tour operators and people in group travel tech, or just travel tech in general, we really wanted your insight a year ago on what was the biggest tech opportunity for people that plan travel, and specifically group travel. And a year ago, you had told us, in a word, automation. And your big tip was start small. What are the things in your the activities of your company that you might be able to automate easily, and then build up to the more complex things from there. So here we are with the rare opportunity as one of our first return guests. How do you feel about that comment? And not just judging the validity of it, like, were you right, but what has changed in the conversations that you've had over the course of a year, and what now do you think is the big tech opportunity for people that plan group travel?
I will double down on what I said earlier. It's not just, I think automation is going to be great for you. I think we're to the point where it's kind of like automate or die. Not to be melodramatic, but I read over the Christmas break, I read a book that friends had recommended to me called Profit First, which is kind of about, running business and making sure it's financially healthy and stuff. But something he wrote there really caught my eye. He basically said, if you're spending unnecessary money on overhead or on staffing or on, having really fancy snacks in the office, he's like, your competitors are spending that money on getting better. They're spending it on better technology, better productivity, better tech. And as a result, they're going to be able to either offer a product that's better than yours or undercut your prices because they're being smarter with their cash. And that really stuck with me. And I think the automation conversation is exactly part of that. So it's not just you should automate because it will make your life better, although it will make your life better. It's your competitors are automating and you will begin to fall behind because you're going to have expenses they don't in having humans push data around from one spreadsheet to another or from an email to a website. And so you're going to be cash strapped paying for things that your competitors aren't paying for. They're going to be serving their customers better because the data is instant. People are going to be getting more frequent communication, getting their questions answered. And so, is it going to show up 3 months from now in your business results? Probably not. But 3 years from now, the company that went deep in automation in 2025 and 2026 is going to be outperforming you if you don't. So I'll double down on that. Of course, the answer to what's next, I mean, everybody wants to say AI. I'm very open to what happens there. I think there's a lot of potential in this agentic AI conversation, the ability for travel sellers to build a tool on their websites that can interact with AI agents and basically let them go through a purchasing flow. The technology's not quite there yet, is the only thing. And it's going to be, early adopters are going to be the ones to bring it on and make the investment of bringing it on. They're also going to be the ones who are going to have to see whether, real human buyers are willing to let an AI book, a $4,000 trip for them. We'll have to see. I don't know, I'm in my mid 40s, so I'm not going to be buying trips with an AI agent anytime soon, but I might buy a pizza. You know what I mean? So we'll just have to see what the market adopts and what they choose to say. I think a lot of people will be willing to use AI for small purchases, but big things, that trip of a lifetime, they will probably continue to buy themselves. But I think forward-looking tour operators need to keep an eye on this. And as tools improve, as there are sort of turnkey solutions for building in that AI tool that can work very quickly with agentic tools out there, I think it's going to be something we need to seriously consider. It's like any technology, the price will come down, adoption will go up, and we just have to wait for those two curves to meet in a place that makes sense for smallish businesses. The price adoption has to come up to a certain point, prices have to come down to a certain point. When those two intersect, that's where we have to get before I would say to that tour company with 3 or 4 employees, like, it's time to go ahead and invest in this.
Yeah. I'll say that, in the time between our conversations, I do think that there was maybe somewhat of a push, maybe even mentally, a lot of mental experiments about how far we could take AI. Yeah. And then also within the course of a year, I think that we saw where the reality is. Mm-hmm. And that was very interesting to see as well. So I think what I'm taking from your comment there is maintain an awareness of AI and how it can plug into your business and be opportunistic.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story if you've got time. I was at a tourism conference in December, a really major conference with some very, very, very big players in the market, and they had a little press conference with I don't know, half dozen or so of their board members who represent huge tour companies. And in the Q&A, I asked, are any of you guys, working on tools to accommodate AI bookings? And they all, like, they had to ask what I was even talking about. They were so far removed. I mean, they're selling a lot through travel agents and through group leaders and stuff. And the idea of an AI friendly tool on their website to allow an AI agent to book, they hadn't even thought of it. And I'm sitting here thinking, you need to at least be aware. Like, maybe you're making a business decision like, no, that's not the route we want to go. We value human relation too much, whatever. Totally get it. But if you're not even aware of the technology and having those conversations internally, that just seems dangerous to me.
It almost feels as dangerous as the company that's on the other end of the spectrum and they're going all in on AI, right? It's like, be somewhere in that meaty middle, right?
Absolutely. And find ways to use it. I mean, I use AI, on a weekly or monthly basis to do things like AI can clean up messy audio in a podcast, for instance. So, if I get audio from a guest and it's kind of messy, I'll run it through some AI filters and it's magic. But we're not creating content with AI. Don't try to create travel photos for your brochure with AI, because next thing you know, you're going to have the Eiffel Tower in the same photo with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, So there are good things you can and can't do, but definitely any place where you can reduce, kind of like with automation, any way you can reduce that manual data movement, data entry, machines can just do that better than we can, and it's time to let them.
Yeah. And we don't have to dig up this whole point, but I do remember a year ago, we kind of went into the result of all of that being that it's going to free up your human labor force for more creative tasks and, figuring out ways to make these magic trips for your passengers. And, that's really going to be the differentiator, more than likely, between you and your competitors, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll also insert a link to conversation from a year ago. Just copy paste what we said back then.
Yeah.
But Brian, Jewell, man, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I know we did a lot of other housekeeping earlier on, but anywhere else or anything else that you would like to plug for the listeners?
You know what? We're all in on group travel. So if you're not already getting our newsletter, the Group Travel Minute, it's something you should subscribe to. It's a bi-weekly newsletter, so we're not blowing up your inbox. It's just every 2 weeks you're going to get this newsletter. It's got some of the best articles from our print issues. You're also going to see stuff that we don't do in print. We've got a really great series we're doing called Group Travel Essentials that is very, very educational reading for anyone who is, a year or two into their group travel career. They're still trying to learn what all the acronyms mean and what's the best way to charter a motor coach and how do I make sure I'm selling the right insurance to my people and that I'm not getting shafted in my hotel contracts. You get access to that series, and that stuff you're only going to get online. So that's available at grouptravelleader.com/subscribe. And I'll tell you what, the best place for anybody, I know I've thrown a lot of URLs out, the best chance for anybody who's new that wants to learn about what we're all about, the kind of content we create and how they can get involved, is a landing page we created for people who are specifically new. It's called our Start Here page, and it's at grouptravelleader.com/start. It shows you our top articles, top podcast episodes, top educational resources, and free downloads, just tons and tons of ways to figure out how you want to consume content and then get in there and get better at what you do.
Absolutely. All of those URLs tossed at the listeners in the show notes. We learned that from the Gather and Go podcast. Brian, Jewell, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all. I love it.
All right, everybody. That was Brian Jewell of the Group Travel Leader. If you are interested in any of the FAMs that he brought up in that interview, those are all also going to be included in the show notes, or at least the landing page where you can research FAM tours that are being offered by the Group Travel Leader. But everything that he mentioned, we'll go ahead and list down there. So click away and check out anything that is of specific interest to you. To my dear co-host, and before we send off Kathleen into her maternity leave, are there any final words that you have for the listeners?
Have fun and stay safe out there.
Ryan, anything that you wanted to say before we wrap up this month's episode?
No, just of course wishing you the very best, Kathleen. Wishing you a very happy early birthday as well. And hopefully by the time this airs, Amtrak will have cleared off the tracks and I'll be back in Boston. So if I'm still in New York, the next episode dropping, send help.
Yes, that will be one heck of a blizzard then at that point. On behalf of both of my co-hosts, this is Erik Young. If you are not already subscribed to the show, find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. If you have any thoughts, feedback, or would like to be a guest on the show, please email me directly, Erik, that's ERIK, at GroupCollect.com. And now, on behalf of both of my co-hosts, we are all saying collectively, until next month, you gotta stay cool and collecting.
This has been a GroupCollect production.